This video includes spoilers for the 1997 anime. Color theory has to do with lots of things, but for the sake of simplicity, I'll go with the color matters interpretation of it. There are three categories of color theory: color wheel, color harmony, and context. If you want a wide grip on color theory, there will be a link in the description. So where does color fit into Berserk? Well, firstly, let's talk about the influence of colors on our characters. Griffith has the primary colors of white and light blue. White means good, purity, and innocence. Blue means loyalty and intelligence. This lastly fits with our good old Griffith, but after the Behra incident, Griffith is known as Femto, and has a black and red color scheme standing as a metaphor for death and evil. The context resides in the fact that he's a king of the astral world, an entire realm painted red, the color of fire and blood. So the association with Griffith later on is red and black. Not only is this the color of my soul, but it's also a devilish design for our now antagonist. Besides Griffith, black and red is displayed with the hand of God. Its color and its absence of white tells us it's actually evil and not nearly as pure as the name suggests. Not only that, but the hand has a very ominous look as it's extremely bony, has sharp fingernails, and is unappealing. From all my time watching Disney, I can safely tell you that ugly often means malicious. God also holds a crimson beherit, a red stone that is directly linked to the opening of a red world with demons. Let's just go over this again. If it's black, it's linked to death. If it's red, it's linked to danger. Demons are almost always a result of the combination of these colors. Even just looking at the show's posters, you can tell that it exerts a notion of urgency. There is red colored everywhere on this picture. Your eyes are glued to the fire because of its luminescence, then to the scarlet stone directly placed in the middle. Notice the beherit holds a violet radiance to conflict with all the red. The purple isn't a far color from red, in fact it's analogous on the color wheel and therefore allows for a nice color transition. The color, lavender, allows for you to distinguish it from the red and even draws you in since it's the only purple on screen. I like how the fire burns the top of Guts and Griffith's head, similar to how an old film would burn and dissolve. It makes it appear much more dire, as if the fire would engulf our personalities if you were to look away. The fire illuminates the demon, filling him in as red. This enraged fiend that stands above Guts and Griffith is seen as higher and stronger than both as evidence of the fight between them. Not only that, but the devil has light peering from behind, making him seem much more godly and powerful. As you can see, Berserk is very nihilistic and has brutal vigor all over it. This is just one of the posters for the 1997 version, but I just want to display to you how colors shouldn't be done. Berserk's 2016 version has a very blue and metallic theme, making its surface as something calm, with the only red being from the tiny bit of blood on his sword and the text. This is Berserk! Where did all the raw emotion of the first picture go? Instead, we have a subtle vermilion that signifies danger, when Berserk has tons of gore and nudity and practically begs for it to be plastered in red. This blood-colored show takes its hues very seriously. On the first episode, we fade to an orange glow in the blacksmith's den. Notice the lack of light would have made for a black and red color scheme, but to avoid this, the colors insisted on an orangish color. Other instances of burning are commonly given a red coloration, but it went against that to aid in the narrative. The opening carries lots of red, but I want to help distinguish the power of red versus the power of orange in shots. The opening starts with a fire overlay on our originally blue Guts. The fire bears large quantities of both orange and red. I think this kind of morph nullifies the danger and just points to a burning feeling within Guts, rather than pointing to any threat or death. Guts' hand extending slowly makes the red from the last shot turn into a white rather than a black because of fear of connecting it to death. That white then blinks a couple of times to then make a rigid transition to a black and red scheme. Swiping across is the next scene with the same black and red tone. It has loads of people dead and is the birthplace of our protagonist, Guts. Again, orange is seen in the shot of a daisy burning. You don't really see it as a danger, but instead an exploration of innocence being burned away. It follows each of these shots with Guts progressing into the story and becoming more powerful. Berserk's color theory is exactly what you'd expect context-wise. All the colors mean what you'd expect them to mean, but it's how they execute the colors that makes it amazing. It calls for your attention at the urgency of its saturation. Demons are almost always portrayed through a black and red color scheme. It's a creative way on determining how to evoke an emotion out of the viewer. The color red in particular is used with consideration, despite appearing on the surface as being splashed everywhere. This is proof in how shots insist on orange rather than its analogous brother. The color theory in Berserk is pretty crazy, or more appropriately, Berserk. Hey yo, Merry Christmas. Like this video. Alright, insert laugh track, let's go.